Can I be honest? I've never really cared much for gaming laptops. And it's not that I never thought that they were good values, maybe, or powerful enough. Of course, many of them are. I just disliked how massive a lot of them were. I love the appeal of thinner, lighter devices always have. They fit nice and snug in most backpacks, they don't weigh 1,000 pounds, and they're usually pretty modest with power consumption. A laptop, whether designed for gaming or not, should be portable, as that is the point of a laptop to begin with. And boy oh boy, have I found the sweet spot. Meet the Lenovo Legion Slim 7 AMD Advantage Edition, an all-AMD powered machine capable of some insane performance given its size. AMD Advantage gaming laptops follow carefully thought out, stringent design guidelines of the AMD Advantage framework, offering features like AMD Smart Shift and Smart Access Memory technologies for enhanced performance. They've also undergone extensive lab testing to deliver optimum performance, power efficiency, thermals, and acoustics, and blending all of those can be quite the challenge. So whether you're playing demanding AAA games or content creating, that AMD Advantage moniker means that your laptop was engineered to give you a great all-around experience. AMD Advantage offers a unique combination of next-level high-performance gaming through both the AMD Ryzen 9 6900HX and the AMD Radeon RX 6800S. Boy, that was a mouthful. All on a profile not much thicker than my index finger, and that's pretty incredible. AMD Advantage also ensures the device is coupled with a premium display to take advantage of this cutting-edge silicon. So let's dive inside. Removing the bottom cover is easy enough, and you'll find access to several components, including your large battery, a Gen 4 NVMe SSD, which you can spec, by the way, up to 2 terabytes, and a single DDR5 DRAM slot. The 8 gigs that's soldered on here obviously cannot be removed conventionally, and the additional stick can be spec'd up to 16 gigs for up to 24 in total, though we've only got 16 in this model. I hope that made sense. The cooling solution in the Slim 7 is massive, by the way, and, well, it needs to be. Basically, all this up here is 100% necessary, especially in a smaller pack-a-punch device like this. You'll also find 2 fans. Obviously, that's pretty standard, 1 on each side. By the way, you can swap out the Wi-Fi card if you want. You can also swap out that NVMe we just mentioned. Next, I want to discuss this display. Lenovo offers an incredible set of features for the 16-inch panel, including 16 by 10, 2560 by 1600 resolution, which is essentially 1440p with a bit more vertical real estate, a 100% sRGB color gamut, a 3 millisecond response time, a VESA display HDR 400 certification, and of course AMD FreeSync Premium support. Yeah, I told you, this is one of the best IPS panels I've come across in a gaming laptop, by the way, just goes without saying. Not only is it extremely color accurate, which is great for content creators, you could content create like a boss with this laptop, but it's also extremely fast, which is great for gamers. 3 milliseconds means minimal ghosting, as you can see in this UFO test, and when paired with up to a 240 Hz variable refresh rate, which this does have, it quickly becomes music to the ears, or, well, music to the eyes, I guess. Yeah, let's go with that. Regardless of the game you play, you won't have to worry about the screen being the bottleneck, and that's especially important in laptops because it's not like you can just swap out displays. I mean, you can replace displays, but upgrading displays usually doesn't work like that. And aside from something like OLED, which can still be quite costly in today's day and age, this is about as good as it gets for laptop display technology, given, again, the hardware driving all of it. And that leads us to just that. Hardware performance. The Lenovo Legion Slim 7 AMD Advantage Edition isn't just a pretty face, it's a stealthy frame shredder you wouldn't expect in a product this thin. It's a bit like a sleeper laptop, and I really like that about this. The AMD Ryzen 9 6900HX is packed full of 8 cores, 16 threads, Zen 3 Plus architecture. I mean, frequencies up to just under 5 gigahertz. Again, in a laptop this thin, that's awesome. This chip is one of my favorite, as it provides excellent throughput when you need it, and you can see here at Cinebench, it's just cranking through these different frames. It's pretty awesome to see. And then also killer efficiency as well, when it matters most. One of the things that I just love about AMD laptop grade CPUs nowadays, they are so darn efficient, leading to some really good battery life in a variety of situations. And if you're near an outlet, the included charger can turn things around in a snap with super rapid charging, restoring 50% battery life in a matter of minutes in our testing. But the gaming side of things is where the Slim 7 truly shines. The AMD Radeon RX 6800S works beautifully in tandem with the 6900HX. Each are powerful in their own rights, yes, but when meshed with AMD smart technologies, namely Smart Access Memory, the machine truly comes alive. You see, historically, the CPU was only able to work with a small chunk of video memory at a time, which in turn could lead to some pretty serious bottlenecks in-game. It 100% depends on the game, of course, and the situation within each game, like in-game settings and whatnot, but just know that what we have here is definitely a big step up. With SAM, the CPU can see significantly larger chunks of what's loaded into VRAM, meaning it can plan ahead, so to speak, and better streamline workloads to eliminate potential bottlenecks. All of these games you're about to see, by the way, will be tested in the 1440p slightly extended resolution, so actually 2560 by 1600. Just think of it like 1440p, maybe you lose a few extra frames because you're churning a few more pixels, right? Because again, it's not 16 by 9, this is more like 16 by 10, which I think is also great from a content creator perspective. If you want to code or anything like that, having the vertical real estate definitely comes in handy. But anyway, I think this resolution is a great balance of GPU and CPU intensive scenes through most of what you're going to see here. And if you do want to drop to 1080p, it still looks really great on this panel. That of course will also bump your frame rate up a tad as well. Your mileage is also going to depend, of course, on the in-game settings, which we'll be sure to include for each of these tests. Our target, by the way, will be around 100 FPS. Starting first with 3D Mark Time Spy, this is actually a very heavy synthetic 1440p load, averaging around 60 FPS throughout most of these tests. Is pretty darn impressive, and the fact that this laptop does fare somewhere in the middle of all submitted results means that it's actually keeping up with a lot of desktops out there. Again, that is no small feat considering a lot of desktops have way more thermal headroom than this thing does. Moving over to some actual games though, let's start with Dirt 5. This game looks really good even in the low preset, which this is here, and in 1440p you can see we're hovering over 100 FPS easy, sometimes over 120 FPS. I think the average was just under that, but this game always does really well. It was an AMD touted title, works really well in tandem with both the CPU and GPU here. You can see that we really had no serious frame dips either, so a very constant, very smooth in-game experience. Pivoting over to Battlefront 2, this is one of my personal favorites, and I love how optimized this game is for a wide variety of hardware. If you're on desktop, it's going to run very smoothly 9 times out of 10, unless you have some sort of software conflict, and in this laptop, it is a breeze. We're well over 100 FPS here. You can see all of our system utilizations as well. CPU threads, all 16 of those things going at once, really working to keep that frame rate over 100. Looks really good here. And we're in the 1440p medium preset, by the way. This isn't even like low or very low. We weren't making a ton of in-game compromises, so it looks awesome, it plays awesome, it's super smooth, piece of cake. Now back to racing for a second. F122, another personal favorite of mine. I play this all the time in my racing sim, and this laptop, it handled it fine. I mean, there was really no hesitation at all to keep it around 100 FPS. It sometimes dipped, yes, into the 80s and 90s. This is a pretty intensive benchmark here, especially with the wet conditions that we always choose here in Australia. But I've got to give it to the device for actually keeping those frame rates up, for keeping it very smooth. No severe frame time spikes or anything like that. All around a very enjoyable experience. Now for something a bit more CPU intensive, this is Ashes of the Singularity in the 1440p normal standard preset. There was really nothing to complain about here. Again, very smooth. We were able to hit 100 FPS on average, although things did dip when the scenes became a bit more intense. I like to benchmark with this because it's very consistent. You can really compare just a very fine detail, the differences in hardware. This was, by the way, tested in DX11 so that you could see the different hardware utilizations taking place. It's difficult to get Rebus statistics to show up in DX12 titles. Just the difference in API and sometimes getting the overlay to work is a bit iffy. But all around, very impressed here. No complaints. And what else could I throw at this that it's going to choke at? I mean, we could throw like Flight Simulator at this or something, but I don't know of many people who want to play flight sim games on a laptop. Just, there's a lot of stuff you could do with this. And that's why I try to choose different kinds of games. Obviously racing games, first person, third person shooters, kind of like top down worldview games, strategy games like Ashes. You could play Dota all day with this, CSGO if you really wanted. All arounder. There's really nothing this laptop can't do in the gaming department, as long as you're willing to, again, make some in-game concessions. It's no secret then that the Slim 7 is a beast, but to the layman, I mean, it looks like any other laptop. It doesn't really look like a gaming laptop. I mean, there's no direct gaming influence per se, and that's actually what I really like about this. It's not, you know, gaudy looking, it's not super thick, super bulky, there's no like huge heat sinks or anything under here. I mean, there could be, and it might help you with performance a bit, but again, that defeats the purpose in my view of a portable laptop to begin with. This is not super heavy. It fits in a backpack. You could lug this anywhere without issue. It does so well at pretty much everything, including portability, which is, I mean, at the heart of what a laptop should be. They've managed to combine stellar gaming hardware with elegant and efficient design. It's perfect for gamers on the go, like I said, content creators, and various workstation applications, depending on how you spec it. Now, I want to close with look and feel. I didn't cover that earlier, and that's because I felt like the meat of the video should be emphasized a bit earlier on. But I do want to mention that it is an aluminum and magnesium body and super sturdy given its size. A 16-inch display surrounded by minimal bezel. I think it looks really nice. The screen to body ratio is very high. It feels like a larger laptop than it really is. Legion branding, Lenovo branding is very limited, especially when the laptop is open. You'll see a small Legion logo bottom center on the display and a small Lenovo logo off to the bottom right of the laptop. They're tasteful and they're not in your face, which I really like. By the way, the camera is top and center, where it should be in my view, and here is how it sounds and looks. Hey there, my name is Greg, and this is what the camera and microphone both look and sound like from the Lenovo Legion Slim 7. What do you think? The keys feel excellent, by the way, just over 1 millimeter of travel, and the deck feels super sturdy. No plastic flex or anything like that to worry about here. I'm also okay with key spacing. That might be my one complaint about the keyboard, but again, it's just up to personal preference. You have to reach more for the keys. Do you like the fact that the keys are a bit more separated so you're not accidentally clicking the wrong key while you're typing? I think it's fine. It's a healthy middle ground. Port selection is varied and plentiful, by the way, including several Type-Cs, a full-size SD card slot, thank you, Lenovo. An audio jack, camera kill switch, Type-A's at the rear, and a power input are also in this device. Sound stems from two 2-watt Harman speakers, and they sound something like this. Oh, but I don't wanna jinx it, baby. Let's not get ahead of my time. Who I think this laptop will really resonate with is someone like the advanced college student maybe, who games frequently on the weekends but runs models and simulators and things like that in the lab during the week. It's portable enough, again, to be lugged around in a backpack or briefcase without issue. It's not gonna make your shoulders hurt after a long day lugging between classes and whatnot. It's also great for media consumption. Battery life is sufficient, again, for prolonged viewing thanks to the efficiency of AMD silicon. So if you're doing any of the things I just mentioned, I think, honestly, this is the laptop for you. Even if you just want to consume media with it for most of its use, the fact that you know you could do more intense things with this without it breaking a sweat, that's the peace of mind you should look for in a laptop. That'll last you several years. It doesn't weigh a ton, it's sharp, it's versatile, it's the all-rounder, honestly. It's a laptop you should strongly consider. If you'd like to learn more about the Lenovo Legion Slim 7 AMD Advantage Edition, be sure to check out relevant links down in the video description. I'll give you a few seconds. I'm just kidding. Also, I want to thank AMD for supporting the channel and allowing us to bring products like these to light. Honestly, you just clicking the link and just checking out the laptop will do us a huge solid. Allow us to continue making videos like these, although they aren't very frequent, and that's by design. We don't want to make the entire channel one big ad. It is videos like these that, again, allow us to continue doing what we do in other playlists that you might be seeing. If you want to learn about AMD Advantage, by the way, powering some of the most compact and efficient gaming laptops on the market, including this one, you should also click that link. There's a lot of stuff down there. If you enjoyed watching, be sure to give this one a thumbs up. That would be greatly appreciated. Consider subscribing if you have not already, and stay tuned for the next one. My name is Greg. Thanks for learning with me.